On the screen, you have this global map. This shows the global Muslim population. The dark green is the region where Muslims are more than 200 million. Muslims, they live almost everywhere in the world. There are some areas where Muslim population is rather insignificant. Muslims are predominantly in existence, or they live in Asia and Africa. Given this global Muslim population, in this session, we would be discussing possibility of issuing a global sukuk. Why we would like to suggest to issue a global sukuk, a sukuk which would attempt to have access to the global capital markets or global markets in general. There are different estimates of the Muslim population. Muslims, in terms of number, they are more than 2 billion, and they are about 20 to 23% of the global population. This could make a case for issuing a global sukuk, which could be offered in certain jurisdictions as a retail sukuk as well. A very significant proportion of Muslims around the world live in poverty. There are different estimates, but a realistic estimate is that about 40% of Muslims globally live in poverty. So out of 2 billion, if we take out 40% poor people, about 800 million, we are left with 1.2 billion Muslims who are not poor. These 1.2 billion Muslims, not all of them are rich, but they are not poor either at the same time. So we would like to look into the possibility of issuing a sukuk relevant to zakat. As you know, zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. And many would argue that zakat has potential of alleviating poverty amongst Muslim communities around the world. And we will see whether this is possible or not. 3.5 to 4 million Muslims are the millionaires. So this is another estimated figure. So we have 350 million Muslims who are very poor, extremely poor, but there are some rich Muslims as well. If we assume that these 4 million Muslims, millionaires, they have just 1 million. So 4 trillion US dollars. This is the wealth held by the rich Muslims. Our own estimate of the global wealth held by Muslims is 11 trillion US dollars. And this is a figure we quoted in our annual publication called Islamic Wealth Management Report 2025. If we take the assumption of 4 trillion US dollars Islamic wealth, then the zakat collected from these people would be around 100 billion on an annual basis. And if we assume that the wealth held by Muslims is 11 trillion US dollars, then annual zakat obligation is 275 billion US dollars, which is a significant number. A lot of people may think that 100 billion on an annual basis, if this amount is available to Muslim governments or Muslim authorities or Muslim institutions, this should help them to alleviate poverty amongst the Muslims globally. Some jurists, they say that about 12.5% of the zakat money could be invested. 12.5% of 100 billion is 12.5 billion, and 12.5% of 275 billion is 34.375 billion. The proposal in this session is for the issuance of a global sukuk for zakat investments. And we are taking the smaller figure, i.e. 12.5% of 100 billion and not 12.5% of the other bigger figure, which was 275 billion. 12.5 billion is the amount which could potentially be used on a global level for the issuance of this global sukuk for zakat investments. Now, given this huge amount of money available in the zakat pot, The question arises, is this money enough to take care of all the economic problems faced by Muslims? Many enthusiastic Muslims, their answer is yes. They say zakat is a very powerful tool. If zakat system is implemented effectively and fully, the money available in the form of zakat should be enough to alleviate poverty from the world. This is a question you should ask yourself.